You know what? Screw it. Let's start with the San Antonio. Let's start with the Spurs. I mean, they're one of the biggest stories. This is, I think, probably the biggest change in your tiers had you done it right
Yeah.
before the season versus now.
Yeah, I was low on the Spurs because I was just like, look, they haven't changed the wings. The wings aren't any good.
I was with you.
They've
I didn't believe
they've
in the depth.
lost Chris Paul, who's a huge playmaker. Like this is a young roster. Young rosters don't do well. All these types of things. And while Wembanyama has been like there is no ounce of him being overrated. Like nothing anyone says about Victor Wembanyama is overrating him. If you were like, Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the NBA right now, I'd be like, well, I don't agree, but you're not overrating him. Mm-hmm. That's insane. That's nuts for how young and raw he is. It's unparalleled. The things he does in these games, like there are multiple sequences where he blocks multiple shots on a possession, goes down, and hits a three. And it's just, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what anyone should do with it. But the fact that they are, because it's like, okay, Wembanyama, they were, he was still very impactful last year, not as much as they needed him to be, but he was. The problem is that, like, look, man, they are 0.1 on court with him on the bench. They're not losing. You should not be this. They're plus 23 with him and plus 0.1 without him. And if you were just like, well, you're going to win the Wembanyama minutes because he's Godzilla, and you're not going to lose the bench minutes because they're getting such great contributions from so many dudes, I don't know what you do. Like, I love that Stephon Castle came into this year with like, so I won Rookie of the Year and everyone just like doesn't talk about me and doesn't think anything of me because my draft class sucks. Cool. Let me show you. And he's been really good for them. He's just been really great. Keldon Johnson is shooting 64% from the field and 56% from three. Probably going to regress. But that's still like a really good start. There are just so many indicators here that the Spurs are absolutely terrifying to the point where, as much as I want to doubt them, like here's a good indicator. Clean the Glass has them third in expected EFG and they're fourth in actual. They're not overperforming their expected offense. Mm-hmm. They're right where they should be. Mm-hmm. And when you have this kind of combination, and they've gotten like great stuff from Luke Cornett, and Vassell has played well. Like I don't have any way to really look at this and poke holes in him other than they'll probably cool off at some point.
I mean, you could argue that they're underperforming their expected field goal percentage because the expected field goal percentage doesn't account for one of their players being 8 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
or De'Aaron Fox being out.
Or De'Aaron Fox being out. And we'll see what happens when De'Aaron Fox comes back. And again, one of those good problems to have. I think Fox is a really good player, and I think he'll figure it out. And I think Victor Wembanyama is one of those guys who, at this point, clearly we have to consider him one of these tide risers, where if you just play with him, things get easier with you. Things are just easier on the court for you, and I think that can still happen with De'Aaron Fox. Dylan Harper looks amazing. When I was doing the scouting work on him, I was so blown away with his finishing at the college level, and my only question was whether or not he would be able to still do it at the NBA level with different level athletes and different kinds of rim protectors, and he was like, nope, no problem. I could still finish at this high degree of difficulty. Not an issue whatsoever. Find somebody that loves you as much as Dylan Harper loves the left side of the hoop, by the way. Back to Wembanyama. One of the more interesting questions when you like kind of ask people around the league, like going into the season, was, okay, where do you think Victor Wembanyama is? Is he a top 10 guy already? Do you have him top 15? Like on the fringe there? Would you put? And like the more aggressive people would be like, oh, he's top 6, top 5-ish. He's probably right there in that range. I was never that aggressive with him. I was like, I got him top 10. I feel pretty good about that. But I have him closer to 10 than I do that top tier of the Jokic's, the Giannis's, the Shea's, the Lukas. Well, he's in that tier now. I think we kind of had that 4 just sort of set aside as the best 4 players in the league. I think Victor Wembanyama is entering and has entered that tier of guy where it's just like, look, now we know who the top 5 guys are. We can have a conversation about the next 5, 10, 20 guys after that. But these are the 5. You can put them in whatever order you want, but these are the 5.
This is a good question for you as a Heat guy. one night, you got to win one game. You get to pick between Victor Wembanyama or Giannis. Who do you want?
I still want Giannis.
Me too. And that's important. Look, he's finals MVP. He won the MVP last year. I'd rather have Victor than Shea. I will take Victor over Shea. Wow. Because Giannis is a defensive monster. And if it's like, well, okay, if you're going to factor defense, how are you going to take Jokic over him? Like, because nobody controls the floor the way Jokic does. Nobody controls the game. Mm-hmm. But like, to me, that would be the list. If you remove all of the injury and limitations and how to guard them and like all of the context, and you were just like, all right, one night, give me the guys in order that you would want to pick. It would be Jokic, it would be Giannis, and then it would be Victor Wembanyama for me. I would take him third. I don't think he's the third best player in the NBA, but if I got to win one game, Victor's best is better than anybody outside of those top two guys, I think.